have now been arrested in connection to a human trafficking and kidnapping investigation.
According to Gulfport police, all of this allegedly happening in connection to a case that started with reports of a runaway teen. Back on January 22nd, the teen was found safe. The investigation revealed that Michael Moses and Bobby Mills had been holding that teen against the will of her legal guardian at a hotel room. They say she was also forced to perform sexual acts for Mills.
Now, we're told that she eventually escaped by fleeing through a window. Mills was arrested and told detectives that 2 others were accomplices in the transportation of the juvenile, and they learned 2 additional people were connected. We have more details on this investigation and the charges on our website, WLOX.
Tonight, gut-wrenching details revealed in a Gulfport human trafficking case. A 14-year-old girl escaped from captivity, and now 6 people are facing charges. A warning about this story: some of what you're about to hear is disturbing. Noah Noble obtained the affidavit showing horrific details of what this child went through.
Hugh, these documents are not easy to read. Gulfport detectives detail how this child was taken off the street, badly beaten, held against her will, and forced to perform sexual acts under threat of death. $40. That's how much Gulfport detectives say Bobby Mills paid for a 14-year-old girl identified as KB. Mills is facing 4 felony charges: forcible sex with a 14-year-old, extortion, kidnapping, and human trafficking. Detectives say on January 6th, KB was ditched here on 20th Street. Mills is accused of approaching the child, then taking her into his home. That's where detectives say KB refused Mills' demands for oral sex. So he beat her to the ground with his fist, grabbed her head, and forced himself upon her. The affidavit says the child pleaded no, please, stop. Then detectives allege Mills raped KB, blackmailed her with nude photos he took, and when she asked to leave while tears streamed down her face, well, detectives say Mills told her to shut up or he will kill her. Sometime after that, KB escaped through a window. When officers found her, she had bruises on her face, arms, body, and had bite marks on her shoulder and neck. Catherine Bizu is a human trafficking advocate for the Gulf Coast Centers for Nonviolence. She says buying a trafficking victim for just $40 is not surprising. Is that typical to see amounts that low?
Yeah, sometimes it's not even about the money. It's really about whatever that trafficker wants.
What does that do to a victim's psyche to be known that she was going to be sold for $30 and some drugs?
It could cause a lot of trauma depending on the abuse that they've suffered. It could turn into them having PTSD.
Is that part of the scheme of traffickers to reduce this victim's self-worth?
Absolutely. Certain vulnerabilities they will pick on, and they'll just continue to feed that insecurity and feed those harsh realities to that victim to make it seem like this is all they're worth.
It's all about control.
It is all about control.
5 other people were charged in connection to this human trafficking case. Although it's not immediately clear how they're all connected, those are answers we're actively working to uncover.
First of all praises to the Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Barakadosh. Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters in recognition to observing this day for worshiping the Most High. Sundown this evening to sundown tomorrow evening. My people, let's get some rest, worship, and praises into the Father Yahweh in Yahweh Shai's name, because it is a commandment throughout all of our dwellings, and He's more than worthy of such. Okay? More so than ever anyway, in these last days that we are living in, we should be, gravitating to the Most High and seeking Him more than ever in our lives, because we're in the end, and we are seeing the hearts of men waxing cold. And when that happens, where there's no love and what have you, iniquity abounds. And this is what we're seeing in epic proportions. Okay, and that's what it boils down to. We talk about, the Epstein cases and all that, and everything that son of the devil has done, and all of his accomplices, but we always tend to give a pass to the devils, the black devils, that live among us in our communities that are actually doing the same damn thing. You know, where our own women and children can't be, go out in society and rest assured that their safety is not in jeopardy because somebody of the same complexion, you understand, that don't care about the protection of their own women and children are out to do the same things that your Epsteins have done to them, as we just witnessed in that case right there. The car wash situation, hey, these things are happening every day and every night. This is why I stress for all of our sisters not to be out here, roaming around, by themselves. But, hey, women make their own choices. I stress that you shouldn't be out here roaming around by yourself because you got these black devils out here, that are doing the will of a white devil. You see what I mean? They snatching women and children up and they doing all crimes, all kind of heinous crimes to them. There's no difference. You between a rock and a hard place at this point. You see what I'm saying? They do not care. They do not care. Now I see where Cornell X and Candace Matthews, I like what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Anytime a racial incident, in Houston happens to take place, there they go. They coming at you. You see? And that's a good thing right there. But what about situations like this? Right here, what we just witnessed. You see, what about things like that? A lot of us can know these black devils and they're doing these things and we keep quiet. And when you do that, you are actually a partaker in that person's sin. If you know that these people are out here snatching up women, children, or even beating and maiming and killing brothers or whatever for money, whatever it is, and you know it, and you keep silent about it, you are a partaker in their sin. See, we need to rise up on people like this in our communities, people. And that's just what it is. They don't get a pass. They don't get a pass. Because you can sit there and say, well, it's not my business. It don't concern me. But the moment that it happened to you or one of yours, you see what I'm saying? Now the world is supposed to stop. You see, and tend to what you want done to these lowlifes. Okay? This has got to stop. If you know of anybody that is engaged in situations of committing heinous crimes like this to men, women, and children in your community, I would urge you to report these people. Do something. Do something. Okay? Because I can guarantee you, in old Israel, these people will be handled very, very, very fast. See, we need more people, how can I say, I can't say institutions or whatever, but like Cornell X and Candace Matthews, we need more people like that, but to handle situations like this. If someone would go and do crimes like this and somebody know about it, community need to get involved. And just like Cornell X and Candace Matthews march up into these, wherever it took place, a racial incident, in a gas station, a grocery store, they would go and shut that place down. Well, if a community know of people like these lowlifes we just watched, you see, is doing things like this, march, assemble and march, go and rally around their house, call the police and every damn thing else, and point their asses out. You see what I'm saying? Point them out. Point them out. Get them out there. You see my point? And that's kind of like by not putting your own self in jeopardy in a sense. But you should always, contact your local law enforcement agency first. Okay? Point these lowlifes out. Get them out of your community. Ain't nothing but nasty pest rats that attack people for their own benefit, whatever it is they want, like these sick lowlifes we just watched. Okay, let's get into the word. I'm gonna keep this short but sweet today. Now we're gonna go over the Ten Commandments. Obviously, a lot of people don't even care about this anymore. Okay, now Exodus 12 right here. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy mother and father, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God given thee. 13. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Okay? Now, these low-life rapists running about snatching people up, that's all about coveting right there. That's coveting. Okay? Verse 18. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood far off. Okay? This is when Moses was telling them basically everything that we're to do and what we're not to do. And I didn't really cover all of the 10 Commandments, but that was just some of them. Okay? Let's go over here in Numbers 35. Starting here in verse 29. So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Whoso killeth any man, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die. In other words, you need at least two, because one witness can't lie on a person. But the main thing here, these murderers and rapists just like murder, okay? What they did to that 14-year-old girl, that girl could never be the same again, okay? She could never be the same again. And a lot of times, if she hadn't escaped, they probably would have murdered her, okay? Murderers, rapists should be put to death, all right? Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. And he shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he shall come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest. Okay? You should take no satisfaction by trying to protect these murderers, trying to give him shelter. You see what I mean? None of that. Don't assist him in his crime in any way, shape, or form, because if you do, you become partakers of his sin. Okay? Deuteronomy 28, verse 25. Deuteronomy 22, verse 25. Now we finna get to the situation of rape. Okay? But if any man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Okay? Now it says betrothed. You know, betrothed means what? Married. Okay? She's married. Verse 26. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. Okay? I told you. Killing and rape is just alike, basically. It really is. You taking somebody force from somebody, you know what I mean? You're taking that person's dignity. You see? You're killing that person spiritually, almost. Okay? Verse 27. For if he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. If any man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he have humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. Now, in that situation right here, I'm sure this would have had to be consensual. That damsel right there that's not married would have had to agree with this situation right here. So therefore, there is no sin. The man will still have to pay her father 50 shekels of silver. But by this, there's really no sin in that aspect. It's two consensual adults right here. Okay? That's not rape. Well, other than that, if somebody, like with these situations right here, those dudes, them people that did that to that young girl right there, death. Now we rely basically on the powers that be, the higher powers, the government, you know what I mean, to exercise situations like this. You see? But they're not doing their job, especially here in America. They probably wind up giving this guy a deal. Probably serve about 2 to 5 years and be right back out on the street doing the same thing. Okay? They don't care. Why? Because this society is evil anyway. Okay? Now let's go here in Romans 13 verse 1. Let every soul be subjected unto the higher powers, for there is no power but Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of Yahweh. And they that resist shall receive themselves what? Damnation, death, destruction. And that's what these people right here that did this to the 14-year-old girl deserve. All of them that's involved. Verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Question. Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of Yahweh to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of Yahweh, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. You see, we're not doing this. We're not executing wrath on him that doeth evil. And this is why evil is flourishing. Okay, verse 5. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. For this cause pay ye tribute also, for they are Yahweh's ministers, attending continually upon this very thing. Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Don't lie on nobody. Thou shalt not covet. Don't see some that belong to somebody else or that person and just take them and go do whatever you want to do with it. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in the saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envy, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Don't make provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. If these lowlifes that did this to this 14-year-old girl, they did that, they never would have even wanted to do this to this child or anybody else. But being that these people are living in the flesh and they are totally wicked and evil, they want somebody to pay for whatever it is they crave. They don't have the right. When we go back to this right here, we're not going, with these things that the Most High said we're to do and live like, we ain't going to know this evilness. You know what I mean? Because why? It's not going to be, upon us anymore. Okay? Let's go over in Ezekiel 18 verse 20. And it reads, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. Meaning, you're going to pay for your own sins, and nobody else going to stand in regard for you to do so. That's not the way it's set up. Okay? These lowlifes that are doing things in our society to our own people are no better than the white devils. They ain't. And they really, really need to be brought to justice. They really do. That's all I got on this particular lesson, people. I hope I said something to stimulate your spiritual growth, and I hope you found this lesson edifying. All praise to the Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakadash. People, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched, simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.